Hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück zu einer weiteren Folge Fate's Day Night Remastered. Wir sind jetzt gerade im Interlude, nachdem Shiro Saber und Todsecker darüber informiert hat, wer die anderen, also wer das Shinji noch ein Master ist und dass halt im Ryodo-Tempel noch einer ist. Und ja, mal sehen, wie es jetzt weitergeht. Okay, ich weiß es, aber hey. It's a quiet, windless night. It's past midnight. Sorry. Oh, das hatte ich schon gemerkt. Darkness blankets the sky. The town itself is like a dark sea, illuminated only by moonlight. Overhead, the clouds move across the sky. At ground level, there's not a breath of wind. Higher up, the air must be roaring as the clouds swim by. Maybe she hears the inaudible wind. She mutters quietly as she looks up into the windy sky. The young girl, known as Saber, stands quietly in the middle of the yard, glaring up at the sky. Her golden hair is beautiful, even in the dark of the night. Her clear green eyes remain on the moon as it flickers in and out of view. She glances towards the corner of the yard once. There is an old shed. Her lord sleeps there. There's a heavy clang. The sound of iron melts into the darkness without reaching anyone's ears. The moon hides and reveals itself once again. As the clouds above float past, the girl's appearance changes radically. Das Schwert. Solid, heavy armor. She can no longer be called a girl in her blue raiment. Now she is shrouded in steely armor, woven of magical energy, intense enough that it would overwhelm all others. In her hand she holds an invisible sword, concealed by the same magic energy that surpasses human understanding. The figure, once considered undefeatable in the battlefield, proves that someone like her still exists in this day and age. Though her sword is invisible, the majestic air she exudes proves her exceptional skill as a swordsman. This is what has made her Saber, the hero of the sword, said to be the strongest of all the 7 servants. A knight among knights, who remains ever civil and acts according to her lord's will. Whatever the other heroic spirits may be like, she remains the ideal swordsman who would never defy her lord. But that ends tonight. She is here, defying her lord's orders. Rather, she is not truly disobeying her lord. This is her way of bringing her lord victory, the result of her own determination. But this master will never change his ways. Then it must be her duty to be heartless. If her master will not fight, then his sword must. But that still poses no hindrance in battle. After confirming her own abilities, she returns her gaze to the moon. She has no concern for the shed where her lord sleeps any longer. Now that she is armed and wearing her armor, the only thing on her mind is defeating her enemies. The moon darkens. The moment a large cloud covers the sky, Saber jumps over the walls of the mansion grounds. She runs through the darkness. The silvery swordsman rushes through the sleeping town. She has but one destination, Ryodo Temple, sitting at the heart of the sacred mountain on the town's outskirts. Even Saber understands how difficult it will be to single-handedly defeat the master lurking in the temple. Shiro is correct. She is bound to suffer great injury, or at worst die herself. But how can she call herself a servant if she cannot do the impossible? Servants are driven by their superior abilities and unassailable pride. They are proud as heroes and have earned the confidence in the numerous battles they fought. As heroic spirits whose lore has been passed down and respected since ancient times, they cannot lose no matter who they face. She cannot even imagine defeat. She is no exception. However, much of her innocence may still be left to her. Being granted the title of Saber is all the more reason she cannot ignore that pride. And that pride will not allow her to just sit by and do nothing when she can face her enemy. And so, she must brave any traps that may await her, and face her enemy even if she is alone. If she has no chance of winning, then she must simply use her sword to create one. Her sword is a celebrated blade. It has cut countless enemies down. As long as she has invisible air, there is nothing for her to fear. She runs through the mountain pass and up the road, leading to the temple. After she cuts through the mountain pass, an imposing stone staircase awaits her. Oh yeah.
確かにこれは
It is certainly different than the Yodo temple she remembers. The air is stagnant. The wind is barren. The land's lifeline was contaminated long ago. This place is a land of death. The moment one enters, there can be no escape. She does not hesitate. Saber does not so much as break stride as she runs up the steps. Scenery flies by. Her footsteps echo on the stone stairs, and the mountain begins to stir. The stairs are long, stretching across a great distance. The temple gates are far even for Saber, who shoots up the stairs like an arrow. So long are the stairs, it is impossible for one to pass through the gate undetected. An ambush surely awaits along the way. Reaching the gate will not be easy. Whatever schemes may await her, she must simply smash through them and keep moving. Brachiale Gewalt, toll. Nothing will stop her. Even were Berserker to appear before her, she would break through. Such is her determination, her confidence. She reaches the top. Just as she is about to reach the temple gates, the obstacle presents itself. Saber stops. Despite her determination to push through no matter what enemy she faces, she is surprised by what she finds. It appears so naturally like a breeze. The man appears before her, lacking any trace of enmity, but leaves not a single opening for an attack.
貴様
Saber stops and raises her invisible sword. The man before her, backlit by the moon, ignores Saber's menacing glare as if it were nothing to him.
侍か
She has heard about them, but she is bewildered by the sight of one. This is her second Holy Grail war. Even though she has seen many other heroic spirits, this is the first time seeing a servant like him. Sweat beats on Saber's brows. She isn't afraid, rather she is struggling to comprehend the situation. It is not as if she never encountered strange servants. Certainly there was no stranger and more mysterious servant than the archer of the previous war. By comparison, the servant before her is hardly frightening, and possesses no incredible weaponry. And that is exactly what makes it strange. She senses nothing from the man. There's no doubt he is a servant, but he seems to possess neither noble phantasm nor magical energy. He should be an easy foe. The fight should end in a single blow, but her instincts give her one very simple warning. Don't underestimate him. The servant has a means of inflicting instant death. She can't get closer. His katana is unconventionally long for a Japanese sword, making it hard to gauge spacing, but more than that, Saber's position puts her at a huge disadvantage. The man stands at the top of the stairs and Saber stands below him. He is about 5 meters from her. His sword will reach her before she can rush him, but she feels nothing from his sword. Repelling it should be easy. She should not be afraid to step in, but Saber senses somehow that she should not. Saber adjusts her grip on her sword and glares at the enemy ahead of her. She may not know his identity, but she should at least be able to determine his
聞
class.
こう。その身はいかなるサーバントか。
Saber doesn't expect an answer. After a brief smile,
アサシンのサーバント、佐々木小次郎。
er hat direkt seinen Namen gesagt, Sasaki Kojiro. The servant's reply is given in a sing-song voice. Oh, geiler Soundtrack. Saber cannot help but be surprised. Servants generally conceal their identities. What sort of servant would so bluntly and proudly give his name?
貴様、何を。
何をとは無粋だな。立ち会いの前に名を明かすのは当然であろう。それがそなたのように見目麗しい相手ならばなおのこと。だというのに、そのような顔をされるとは心外であった。
The man who introduced himself as Sasaki Kojiro, the assassin, appears to enjoy Saber's confusion. There's no way Saber knows. She has no idea the servant is a swordsman who wields a long sword called Monohoshizao, and was rumored to have been an unrivaled swordsman during the Keicho era in Japan. Knowing, of course, would change nothing. The man's origin is unknown, and even his existence is uncertain. His story was told only by word of mouth, and there's perhaps only one person in the world who knows the true identity of the man who was hailed as the greatest swordsman in the world. The man who never left a mark in history, but was Sasaki Kojiro's arch-enemy, and the only one to have ever defeated him. So how can this man be called a hero? The assassin, Sasaki Kojiro, is a presence far removed from Saber herself. Who among heroic spirit could know the abilities of a swordsman who could not himself normally be a heroic spirit?
だが、
Two things are clear for her. One is that the man before her is an enemy, and the other is that he has willingly identified himself.
参りました。名乗られたからには、こちらも名乗り返すのは騎士の礼です。
Saber's voice is grave. Revealing her true name possesses an immense risk. She cannot reveal her true name even under torture, nor does she have any intention of doing so. However, this is only in the name of her pursuit of victory. For the same reason, she cannot tarnish her knight's honor.
小次郎と言いましたね。アサシンのサーバントよ。私は。
よい。名乗れば名乗り返さねばならぬ相手であったか。いや、無粋な真似をしたのは私であった。
The man descends the stairs gracefully. Assassin confronts Saber, taking slow steps down the stairs.
そのようなことで敵を知ろうとは思わぬ。我らにとって敵を知るにはこの刀だけで十分であろう。違うか、セイバーのサーバントよ。そう驚くこともあるまい。貴様の持つそれが何であるかは分からぬが、身にまとった殺気は剣士のもの。目がくらむほどの美しい剣気。その貴様がセイバー以外の何者であろうか。
He takes a step closer. Assassin descends the stone steps and he points the sword at Saber.
神名など知らずともよい。ただ、セイバーというサーバントがこの刃に破れるだけの話だ。言葉で語るべきことなど皆無。もっとよりサーバントとはそういうものであろう。
The swordsman laughs joyfully.
なるほど。それは確かにその通りです。
As Saber speaks, she raises her sword.
それでよい。では、果たし合おうぞセイバー。サーバント随一と言われるその剣に、しかと見せてもらわねばな。
The silver light leaps, solid and soft. The battle between two very different swordsmen begins under the moonlight. New servant data ended. Interlude out, okay? Ich möchte einmal kurz schauen. Hier hat sich nichts verändert. Mhm. Shinjimato. Mhm. Alignment Chaotic God. Noble Phantasm A+. Hero Enforcement keine Magic Resistance, Riding A. Mhm. The riding ability can even ride mythical beasts and divine beasts as long as they are beasts. However, this does not apply to dragon species. Mhm. Caster ist bisher nicht bekannt. Assassin, Sasaki Kojiro. Agility A+, Luck A. His his name remains widely known as that of a peerless here. He was a beautiful swordsman who wielded a 3 feet long sword. Mhm. Mhm. The laundry drying pole. Mhm. Aber ich werde das da jetzt nicht alles vorlesen. I wake up up to a searing pain in my chest. It feels like I've just had a bad dream. Why does my chest hurt? My heart feels like it's burning. Actually, it feels more heat from outside has been forced into my body. From outside? I doubt myself briefly. But before I can think of what it might be, I find myself rushing outside. Saber, are you here? I open the sliding screen door to Saber's room. She's not yet. Don't tell me she... No, there's no doubt. If she's not here, she went to renew the temper on her own. That idiot. Why? She hasn't healed, so why would she... I'm so angry my head is starting to hurt. I didn't tell her I wasn't going to fight. I just didn't want her to get hurt like that again. There's no point in fuming here. I need to hurry to Yoro Temple. I can't let Saber fight alone. Well, I don't know what good I can do to her, but if I get there, maybe I can do something. Yeah, she's a girl. Why can't she just behave herself? I run. I don't even take the time to change. Out front, I grab a bike and pedal as fast as I can. I pedal down the hill without braking. It will take at least 40 minutes to Yoro Temple, even if I rush. I don't know how long it has been since Saber left, but I need to get to her as fast as I can. Hey, Interlude. Wieder. Interlude 6.2. The blades cross. The edges of both swords comes into contact again and again, stroke after stroke. Sword and katana alike spark as they strike and parry. Several dozen exchanges like this later and neither opponent has changed position. Assassin standing higher on the steps holds his ground. Saber, who is trying to advance up the stone steps, can't get any closer to Assassin over time. She bleeds more and more energy. One of Saber's many attempts at rushing in. Assassin effortlessly swings his long blade fully 1.5 meters and holds Saber's advance. No, he is not simply preventing an advance. If Saber's blade is lightning, Assassin's katana is a hurricane. So Assassin may be no match for her in strength or speed. The flexible trajectory of his blade sweeps aside Saber's every attack. The ricocheting katana gains speed and flips back towards Saber's neck like a gust of wind. Even as Saber dodges the blow by only a hairbreadth, the long katana flicks back toward her, giving her not a moment's rest. In contrast to Saber's straight sword, Assassin's blade is curved. Oh meine Nase. Assassin's cutting edge is graceful, but it also draws a long extended arc. He shouldn't be able to match Saber's sword, as it moves in a straight line, but he somehow cancels out that difference. She suddenly stops. Her blade isn't moving fast enough to block Assassin's counter-attacks. She falls back a pace, knowing it's the only way she can avoid the incoming strike. Assassin's katana has a fascinatingly beautiful arc, but at the same time it's so fast that it's nearly impossible to follow. Is this seeming impossibility owed to Assassin's skill, or is it owed instead to Saber being at a disadvantaged position in the battle? Unable to reach a clear conclusion, Saber continues dodging Assassin's strikes and turns aside the blade as it arcs towards her neck with her own weapon. The next thing she knows, she has retreated a few more steps down the stairs. That's the extent of his long katana's reach. It would be easy to rush up close to him once she sweeps the sword away. But for some reason she just can't do it. It must be owed to the enemy's superb skills and her own position below him, which puts her at a disadvantage. Saber bites her lip, thinking she wouldn't have such a hard time against that long katana if they were on flat ground.
さすがにやりにくいな。見えない剣というものがこれほど厄介とは思わなんだ。
Assassin is unmoved. He is fighting purely to defend. He need not chase after a retreating Saber, nor does he have any reason to give up the advantage of higher ground.
見れば刀を見ることさえ初めてであろう。私の剣筋は邪道でな。波のものならばまず一撃で首を落とす。それをここまで防ぐとは嬉しいぞ、セイバー。加えて打ち込みも素晴らしい。その勝負でこれほどの剣撃を行うからにはさぞ鍛え抜かれた全身であろう。
Assassin watches Saber, his posture relaxed, perhaps simply because he needn't go on the offensive. The tip of his blade wavers, losing strength. But Saber cannot seize the opportunity. The man is not holding a stance. A long katana like that can only be wielded as long as the wielder is able to swing the sword from any position.
どうした？これで終わりというわけではあるまい。その不可視の剣。見かけ倒しではなかろう。
いつまでも減らず口を。
A sword and katana clash.
よし、当たりだ。
The longsword stops mid-swing. Assassin grins, glancing at his katana where it stopped the invisible sword, then parries again. While Saber catches the flash coming at her neck, even Saber knows. She has been able to block Assassin's unfamiliar sword work thanks to her invisible sword. The invisible sword can confuse the opponent's senses, both offensively and defensively. Assassin not following through on his attack is proof of this. Not knowing how long Saber's sword is makes it too dangerous for Assassin to close in on her. If Assassin were to step in to attack Saber, he will do so when Saber tries to smash Assassin's forehead. That attack. Assassin dodges it completely as it takes just a step back.
よし、これで目測はついたな。刀身3尺余り、幅は4寸といったところか。形状は、セイバーの名の通り、典型的な西洋の剣だな。
Assassin may have spoken calmly, but his exceptional skill at appraising the blade is clear. Saber's strike. had been so fast that even her sword visible, it would have been almost impossible to see. And yet, not only has he managed to defend himself from the invisible blade, he has also figured out its size and shape.
信じられない。何の魔術も使わず、満足に打ち合ってもいないというのに、私の剣を測ったのですか。
ほう、驚いたか。だが、こんなものは大道芸であろうよ。邪剣使いゆえ、このような技ばかり上手くなる。
なるほど。私の一撃をまともに受けず、ただ払うだけがあなたの戦いだった。邪剣使いとは、その逃げ腰から来た俗称ですか。
いやいや、まともに打ち合わぬ無礼は許せ。何しろこの長刀だ。打ち合えば折れるは必定。お主としては力勝負こそが基本なのだろうが、こちらはそうはいかぬ。その剣と組み合い、力を競い合うことはできん。もとより、刀というものはそういうものだ。西洋の剣はその重さと力で物を叩き切る。
Das stimmt.
だが、我らの刀は速さと技で物を断ち切るのだ。戦いが噛み合わぬのは道理であろう。まあしかし、これではいささか興がそがれる。もう良い頃合いだぞ、セイバー。いい加減手の内を隠すのはやめにしろ。
アサシン、私があなたに手加減しているとでも。
していないとでも言うのか。何のつもりかは知らんが、剣を鞘に収めたまま戦とは舐められたものだ。私程度では本気を出すまでもないということか。ほう、それでも応じないという顔だな。よかろう。ならばここまでだ。お前が出し惜しみをするのなら、先に我が秘剣をお見せしよう。
And with that, the swordsman with the long katana drifts down next to Saber. For an assassin to give up his advantage position is as good as inviting defeat. He may be a superb swordsman, but it was the landscape of the battleground that gave him the advantage. If the two are to fight on level ground, Saber should not have trouble repelling Assassin's attack and taking his head then and there. Assassin should know this as well. So why?
構えよ。出なければ死ぬぞ、セイバー。
Saber instinctively reacts to the smoothness in his voice, for he is speaking the truth. Assassin descending the steps has not put her in an advantage position. Her intuition, which has enabled her to triumph in so many battles, warns her of her mistake. She raises her invisible sword. There's no room to hesitate. What matters is that she has to attack with her sword before Assassin swings his long katana. Oh yeah. Roughly 3 meters separates the two. He readies himself. The stance he takes now is one he has not taken in the battle so far. Saber charges. The long katana is meaningless now. The moment she draws near Assassin, the katana will become a liability to him. And yet... Yep. Such logic means little to a swordsman like him. Lightning strikes. Faster even than Saber's blade, the demonic blow strikes down in a single straight line. Nope, stimmt nicht. But it's not if Saber cannot block such an attack. She quickly raises her sword to defend, repelling against Assassin's attack. Even Assassin will be left open after an attack like that is turned aside. In that split-second interval, as Saber attempts to cut through Assassin's damage. Swiftly trusting in her instinct, Saber rolls down the stone steps. She rolls away, as if she is fleeing. She makes no effort even to soften her landing. All Saber does is frantically hurl herself down the stairs, slowing for nothing. Saber stops rolling and gets to her feet. Above her on the stairs, she sees the swordsman standing at his ease.
ほう、かわしたか我が被験。さすがはセイバー。ツバメなどとは格が違う。
信じられない。今のはまさ。
何？そう大した芸ではない。たまさかツバメを切ろうと思いつき、身についただけのものだからな。
He raises his long katana up high. The motion is done, as if to mimic the demonic swords motions he demonstrates earlier to intimidate Saber.
見えるか、セイバー。ツバメはな、風を受けて刀を避ける。早かろうが遅かろうが関係はない。どのような刀であろうと、大気を震わさずには触れぬであろう。故に、どのような一撃であれ、ツバメを断つことはできなかった。所詮刀など一本線に過ぎぬ。縦横に空を行くツバメを捉えられぬは道理よな。ならば、逃げ道を囲めばいいだけのこと。一の太刀でツバメを襲い、風を読んで避けるツバメの逃げ道を続く二の太刀で取り囲む。しかし連中は素早くてな。この長刀ではまず二の太刀が間に合わん。ことを成したければ一息のうちほぼ同時に行わなければならなかったが、そのような真似は人の技ではない。叶うことなどあるまいと承知したものだが、あいにくと他にやることもなかったのでな。一年鬼神に通じるというが、気がつけばこの通りよ。ツバメを断つというくだらぬ思いつきは、複数の太刀筋で牢獄を作り上げる秘剣となった。
Saber cannot help but disagree with his matter-of-fact narrative. It is untrue. His technique is not as simple as he claims. Execute two attacks simultaneously. Impossible. The two blades struck at exactly the same time. In that moment, there existed two separate katanas.
奇襲はゼルレッジ。何の魔術も使わず、ただ剣技だけで宝具の域に達したサーバント。
It is most certainly to be admired. That single blow made it very clear. Sasaki Kojo does not possess a noble phantasm as heroic spirits typically do. All he has is his magical sword and its sheer power, reaching the realm of the gods. What's astonishing is that this man, a mere human, has managed to stand on equal ground with a heroic spirit who possesses a noble phantasm.
だが、足場が悪かったな。ツバメ返しの奇跡は本来3つ。もうわずかに広ければ、横の一撃も加えられたのだが。
そうでしょうね。そうでなければ不完全です。すべてが同時であるなら、ミノたちはどうしても遅くなる。それを補うために、横方向への離脱を阻む3の太刀があるはずだ。
いい飲み込みの速さだ。だからこそ我が秘剣をかわしたか。素晴らしいぞ、セイバー。このような属性に呼び出された我が身を呪ったが、それも今宵まで。生前では叶わなかった立ち合い。我が秘剣を存分に振る舞える殺し合いができるのならば、呼び出された甲斐があるというもの。
Ich würde sagen, an dem Punkt beende ich mal diese Folge. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao!